Nice. I guess let's kick off just so that we have a good amount of time for discussion on this topic. Let's just go around and introduce yourself, name your chapter name, and geographically where you're located. So I'll start off. Susan O'Handley, Delaware Otsego Audubon Society in the Cooperstown, Oneonta, New York region. Doug, would you like to go next?
Okay, Doug Bloom from Bronx River Sound Shore, Audubon in Westchester County, Lower Westchester County.
Thank you. Mar, do you want me to introduce you?
I can speak for a moment.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been ill. I'm with Northern New York Audubon out of Saranac Lake, New York. I am the treasurer.
Thank you. Byron, do you want to go next?
Yeah, Byron Young. I'm with Eastern Long Island Audubon Society chapter, and our area covers from
Valley Audubon Society in Rochester, New York.
Thank you. Dennis.
Dennis Reardon, Mononketuck Audubon, New Haven, Connecticut area.
Carol Quantuck.
Carol Quantock from Audubon Society, the Capital Region. So we cover Capital Region, large area.
Nice to have you here, Carol. John.
Hi, everyone. John, newly elected Vice President of Southern Adirondack Audubon Society. Our catchment area goes from Saratoga Springs north to about Chestertown and to the Vermont border to about Blue Mountain Lake. Southern Adirondacks.
Nice. I'm glad you could make it, John. Anita.
Hi, I'm with Mattapiseok Audubon, and that's mid-Connecticut.
Thank you. Betsy? You are currently muted on your microphone.
Hi, I'm with Northern New York Audubon. Sorry, I was just finishing my dinner. I just got home from birding. I'm with Northern New York Audubon.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Mary Beth.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi. Mary Beth Warburton. I live in Potsdam. I'm with the Northern New York Audubon on the board, and I recognize a lot of faces here from, I was also on the Audubon Council for 20 plus years, but not anymore. So
Beautiful.
Nice to see everybody.
Nice to see you too. And
See
Laura.
you there, Mary Beth.
Hi,
Laura.
Doug.
Laura, do you want to introduce yourself too?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Laura McCarthy. I'm the Network Engagement Manager for New York and Connecticut. I am based in the Albany Capital Region area, Carol's chapter, not far from John's chapter. And my territory is all of New York and Connecticut because I work with all of you. So it's so nice to see you all and some faces that I haven't seen or some names I haven't seen in a very long time. Mary Beth, welcome back. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
And nice to see those of you I don't know yet. If you don't know me and you need anything from me, this is me. You know where to find me. And my email is just my name with a period in between at audubon.org. So if you need to be added to the chapter list or anything like that, you know how to get me.
Awesome. And Christine is coming in. She's connecting to audio. So if we can have her introduce herself as soon as she is able to, that would be great. And then we can kick off our discussion. There we go. Christine, would you like to unmute and introduce yourself, like your name, your chapter name, and geographically where you are?
Oh, sure. I'm Christine from Rockland Audubon, and we're basically like a suburb of New York City, right across from Westchester.
Thank you. So chapter liability insurance, it's not really an exciting topic, but I think it's one that's pertinent to all of us. I don't quite know where to start. I know that somebody had asked about talking about directors and officers insurance and things like that. Just from a show of hands, I assume we all have liability insurance. Do we have anybody that has a chapter that has directors and officers insurance?
I checked, I thought we did. I checked on it. We don't.
Okay, so Northern New York, it looks like you guys do.
We do.
Awesome, because you guys might have to be the resource for all of us.
I believe we have it too. Not that we've really done anything with it, but I think we do have it.
Awesome.
We have it as well. Rockland
You
also
do?
has it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really good to know because I think you're probably, I don't think many chapters do. So I think what you have to share on that is going to be important. And Teresa, welcome.
Hi.
Teresa, Capital Region Audubon in the Albany area. So I'm glad you were able to join us tonight.
Yeah.
Kicking off on liability insurance, Southern Adirondack, I'm gonna just like call on you to just basically, I assume you landed with a different company. I don't know how many of you are aware they got kicked off their policy because they had information on their website that they do advocacy as part of their work. And I'm not sure if it was the Hartford, was it the Hartford insurance company that?
It was the Hartford. I had a feeling that it'd come up.
Yeah, but there was a huge backlash from it. It got a lot of publicity, a huge backlash. They ended up, after refusing you coverage twice,
Correct.
I think the third time they offered your policy back to you and you told them to take a hike.
Well, we wanted to tell them to take a hike, but we're going to tell them to take a hike after we have put up our Modus towers. We're keeping, and I'm not in the thick of it. Rob and Lori are, but they decided that we're like, okay, we're gonna stick with what we got right now. We had already gotten an extra rider to do the Modus towers through the Hartford, that we decided to stick with them. And as soon as that project is done, then we're going to tell them to take a hike. It would just be a lot more extra work
Right.
to do that. But they're gone as soon as our towers are up.
Can I ask a question? What does advocacy mean? Of what?
Like when you advocate for a particular, like the Horseshoe Crab Act in New York or the Lights Out legislation in Connecticut, that's all part of advocacy. We're advocating for bird habitat, we're advocating for wildlife. So basically, it's talking with government officials, it's talking with people in your community as a spokesperson, I guess, on behalf of an issue.
Why did they feel, why didn't they like that you were doing advocacy?
That's a whole ballgame.
No, what was the reasoning?
All Audubon groups are advocate of some sort. Is that
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
To try to keep it short, as far as I know, because our chapter is associated with National Audubon Society, that is an advocacy group. That is why the reason they gave to drop us. In fact, nowhere on our website or our social media do we actually have the word advocacy, or that we say that we actually do it. So their reasoning was we are affiliated with National Audubon that does advocacy.
That is so bizarre. We
insane.
very clearly have advocacy like right in our mission statement.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
How many other organizations do advocacy? Other groups? It's insane. Yeah, it makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It happened to our chapter also, and we just kind of let it ride because they reinstated it after, I don't know what changed their mind. I think it was all a political move on their part, and it was I mean, I'm not going to speak to it, but I would like to know, John, who you end up going with after your Modus project is complete.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. That we have identified actually we were getting requests or
Solicitations.
solicitations, thank you for the word, to take something on. So Rob and Lori, they did find someone with a good rate, and so we will once I can get that information for you once we.
Thank you.
Does everyone here have an idea of how much they pay each year for your liability policy?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that information is also good to share. Delaware Otsego Audubon, we pay about 2,500 a year, and then we have an extra rider for, well, we have property though. We have the sanctuary that basically is open dawn to dusk every day of the year. So we have that, which covers us for stuff on site and off site. It covers any trips and field trips that we do, if something should happen that we're organizing. And then we have an extra rider that costs us maybe $250 a year extra that covers volunteers that are working on the site with us that might be using equipment that, if there's an accident or somebody gets hurt while, helping with a volunteer project, that covers us for that. We do not currently have directors and officers insurance.
Susan, for your $2,500 piece, do you know what the dollar amount that you're covered for? Like 250,000, 500,000, a million? Or?
Let me see if I can find that while we're on the call. I'm pretty sure it's whatever the standard coverage minimums are. Like you have to have a certain minimum. I'm pretty sure we're there or above.
It's generally 1 million, 2 million.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer, do you want to do a quick intro for yourself?
I'm eating. That's why I'm not on.
Okay.
Really, our insurance. Yeah, go
Wilson
ahead.
Pines is North Shore Audubon. No, yeah. Did I get that right? North Shore Audubon Society down on the northern part of Western
Long
Suffolk.
Island.
Yeah, Western
Nassau.
Suffolk, Easton, Nassau. Great. Somebody had a question.
Teresa,
I was just saying that my chapter, we pay $315 a year, and it's each occurrence is $1 million. Damages to rental properties, 100,000. Medical is 5,000. Personal and whatever injury is $1 million. General aggregate is 2, and products or whatever the heck it is 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
I
looking to
believe
see if I
for
can find ours.
Southern Adirondack Audubon, we do not have D&O, and we are paying, well, we will be paying between $580 and $700, but we don't have property. We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm not sure what ours are. I'll have to check with our treasurer.
Does anybody here use Packner and Associates? Okay. I'm curious because when I was first with Audubon, and I think some chapters do, but no one on this call does. Okay. When I was first with Audubon, that was a suggested one because Don Packner, the owner of that, it was only suggested by two other chapters, but I don't know if anyone still has him. But he was part of a chapter. He was a chapter leader at one point, so he understood chapters. And I know that one does offer like a Audubon chapter kind of package because he's familiar with
Audubon. That's the one that we used to have. And
maybe you did. You probably did. I think a number of chapters used to. But
he ended up not getting back to us, I guess, to redo it. And when I called to him at one point, and we hadn't gone with him. It was having issues with him. That's why.
Okay. That's good to know because it was somebody who I had said, like, I think chapters still use this, but I don't know if that's grounded in science.
We have somebody else finally.
I'd like to echo Teresa because before I even came on to Southern Adirondack, Audubon, they were using Packner.
Okay.
And when we started to actually do things and and needing, extra things, they or I will say they never got back to us on anything. We tried to get him to do anything for us for over like a couple of years, and we just left him because
Gotcha.
he's
That's
inactive.
all I need to know off my list
Yeah, you
of
don't.
suggestions. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Stay away.
Yeah.
I
We
just put
use,
the company we use in the chat.
yeah, I've,
It's
um,
about it's about
I've got a
750, I
solicitation
think.
from them. But we use Dryden Mutual Insurance, and they're very reasonable. We've got $1 million in liability insurance, and it was for $140 up until recently. And they have us do an audit every year.
Yeah.
And they just ask us how many people we have in our organization. And I had to answer honestly. We have about 1,700 people. And then I said, but we only had around 200 people attend our events and field trips. So then they turned around and hit us with another $40 for our liability. But other than that, we do have bodily injury is $1 million, $2 million aggregate is the limit, and medical payments $1,000 per person, 10,000 each incident. So that truly is not too bad.
No. What about directors and officers insurance for
We looked
those of
into
you?
it, and it's so expensive.
Yeah,
It
we
really
found
have
that
it.
too.
We have it through Travelers, and it's $415.
400.
That's great. Like we tried to quote it out and it would more than double what we were paying for insurance. So I
We
don't get it. Like,
we use a broker in I don't even know where it is, in Webster, New York, somewhere in Western New York.
That's near us in Rochester.
Okay, yeah, and they're called Steinmiller Associates. Now, I was not involved when we switched to them because we had some issues with the cost of our insurance, and somebody shopped it out and found these folks, and they've been very helpful. Again, when Hartford canceled us and then reinstated us, they were behind us 100%. So I feel like they're a small brokerage, but there's for our needs, so far so good.
well, that's great.
Susan, I just was talking to Jeff, our treasurer.
Yep.
We use Travelers.
Yeah.
It's $325 a year.
Yeah.
We have a $2 million policy.
Okay. I'm going to reach back out about some of this for our chapter because we've looked into it and our quotes have been astronomically high and we just said it's not worth it. But I think, $300 or $400 or even $5
is,
I think that's reasonable. Like
Yeah.
we were quoted like thousands of dollars and we're
Yeah.
just like, we can't do that.
And that covers field trips, and when we use Five Island Park in New Rochelle, it's all under the policy.
Right. Is that directors and officers or is that
That's field trips.
okay?
If we have a program somewhere, the whole thing is $325.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
No, go
We're
ahead,
using-
Jennifer.
Yeah, we're using a company, I just finally found it, called Sports Insurance. and the breakdown, we're paying $1268.95. And the breakdown for that, we're paying about half of that for directors and officers.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like 200 and some odd for general liability, 200 and some odd for accidents and medical, and 626 for the director's coverage. And that gives us a 3 million aggregate.
Okay.
1 million each occurrence, 2 million products and completed operations. I have no idea what that means. 1 million personal and advertising injury. I mean, some of these are clearly standard, so.
Right, right.
I do know that through our liability.
They're up in Lake Placid.
Who are they?
I think we got them as a recommendation on, one of these kind of.
Oh, interesting.
But who is it?
It's called sports insurance. They're in Lake Placid.
Interesting. Mary Beth, do you want to continue on your thought there?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, one other thing about director and officers insurance, we have it, and we also have something called like indemnification in our bylaws. So I forget the exact definition for indemnification, but I think it goes together. Like when you get the D&O insurance, you also have to put indemnification in your bylaws, and then that helps prevent people from like suing people individually.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
As
Isn't
long as
there
they
a
have
law-
not committed some illegal activity.
Isn't there a law though that if you're in an organization, you can't, as an officer of things, you really can't be sued? Like with Audubon, they said, you're part of national and you're not able to be sued or something like that. I thought that something shouldn't happen.
I'm not sure. I think anybody can be sued,
I think so
Yeah.
too.
but I think what D&O does is it basically having them win a case in court for something like that is probably fairly minimal, but the D&O insurance will cover your legal fees to get you to that point where then they can dismiss the case because you're not actually liable. So it's almost, that was how it was explained to me by a person in the insurance industry, basically. And
Yeah, anybody can sue anybody, but
Right.
supposedly, if you're part of you're part of National Audubon, you're under them that,
We're not.
but we're
Well,
we're independent 501c3s, so
well, that's true.
you
Yeah.
have to have some kind of, like, there is some kind of protection there as as a board member, but like I believe I believe that there is protection there, but if you get sued based on some decision that was made as a board member, you'll still incur legal fees to defend you in a case where that gets brought, and that can be quite costly.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
think that's part of why that D&O insurance is important.
I have some information here from another organization that I'm on the executive committee. And we have 3 policies, general property and liability, which, obviously makes sense. Then executive protection, which says covers all staff and volunteers against allegations of negligence in respect to the management of the organization, such as donor designated funds, some protection against allegations of libel and or slander, coverage $1,000 deductible for that policy. And then there's crime insurance, which really makes me laugh. Protection against crime by board members, such as absconding with funds, coverage blanket form for forgery, alteration, theft, blah, blah, blah. So those are the 3 policies. The crime insurance is with Travelers. Executive protection is Great American, and our general property and liability is Hartford. And prices I can't give you now because these are the descriptions are good, but the prices are outdated.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
It helps anyway. At least it explains some of the executive protection.
Yeah.
I like that.
I have a question. I was wondering, did any chapter ever have somebody fall on a field trip and it lead to any problem? Or...
We've had some close calls. We had a group of volunteers helping with invasive species eradication, and it was in a marsh area where you really needed to be in good shape to get into and out of the area and navigate around there. It was in a wetland. And there was somebody that they were very seriously considering, like calling an ambulance to get this woman transported.
Wow.
By the time they got out of there. Nothing came of it, but it made us think, like what is our liability here? Like we try to be as preventative in our messaging as we can for things like that, where we tell people like how rigorous this is expected to be and like what physical requirements are really needed to navigate it. But they were chaperoned with a bunch of scouts and I guess didn't think that applied to them. So, it made us question, like, how liable would we be if she had a heart attack at the end of this, or during it? Like, they didn't know, like, if they could even get her out of the marsh.
Wow.
So, like, there's definitely times when it makes you think.
Is there at times when you do certain activities, they have an affidavit you sign saying you will not hold us responsible? How about us? We should do that possibly.
Yeah.
When we go on these walks. So, I mean, we only do once in a while walks. We don't do invasive removal, any of that. But I mean, other organizations will have you sign that affidavit just to protect us.
We
it
have a
doesn't mean
waiver that's
anything.
up on our website. The insurance company requires, it used to be like once signed and done. Now it has to be done every year, so we have to nag everybody. But it can be done electronically on the website.
And what is it that you have there?
It's a waiver.
A waiver,
hold
yeah.
harmless, a standard hold harmless.
So is that for everybody participating in any of your activities?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, interesting.
We've
Can
never
you
been
link
told
that?
we needed to do that.
What's that?
I said, we've never been told we had to do that by our insurance company.
But it wouldn't hurt.
Much.
It wouldn't hurt to do it. They may not tell you, but it's something you could still do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But if the person still wants to sue you, they'll sue you.
Yeah.
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 True.
I was told by my insurance company, this is in regard to the Great Adirondack Bird Celebration that we are now running ourselves, Northern New York Audubon.
Right,
And
right.
it's with regard to traveling in personal vehicles. And they said that, yes, through our general liability, that, yes, they would suggest that we get a waiver signed by anyone who's riding with an individual, because otherwise, actually, the liability would fall on that driver if something happened. Now, then I said, well, I need language for the waiver. And they said, oh, we can't provide that. You got to come up with your own. So any link or whatever that woman was just saying about a language for a waiver.
I just put it in the chat.
Oh,
Link to our form.
Are you Jennifer? Thank you, Jennifer. Okay.
Yep, and I'll save a record of the chat to share with everybody as a follow-up to this. So I'll document all this information.
I'm with the Cornell Master Gardeners, and one of the things that they started doing with us is if you're doing, like, go on a trip and people carpool, if you want to drive, you have to submit your driver's license and they check your record and make sure you have insurance. So that's another thing that they started doing. And I assume it's somehow maybe related to insurance. I'd have to find out the specifics. So anybody carpool who's the driver has to submit all this information.
Wow.
Good idea.
We do carpooling, but we don't require any of that.
But
But
this
we
is coming
have
from
asked.
Cornell. This is Cornell University is the one who's pushing this and making us do this. So that's
We
for
don't-
protecting them too, or yourself.
Part of it is we suggest carpooling, but we don't organize it. That takes the
That's
burden off
true.
of us.
Yeah.
So even if you're meeting at a carpool location,
Yeah, we just go on trips. So some people will carpool. Different members of different master gardeners. We go visit a garden or something, and whoever is going to now be the driver needs to go through and give all this information. Cornell made us do this.
wow. Okay.
I go by myself. I don't have anybody go with me. If I want to go somewhere, I'm not going to be responsible. I just drive myself. But they started this a few years ago with us, so.
Right.
So say like if the Audubon chapter does like carpooling, but didn't like take any action in terms of the paperwork, like what happens? Like if somebody's driving somebody else, like what would, and there's an accident, like what would happen? How would that play out?
You would go after the person driving. It's not the organization.
It has nothing to do with the chapter. Okay.
Yeah, but I could
Which
see
doesn't
that
mean they
somebody
can't
would
sue
say,
you.
It doesn't. Like you said, it doesn't, but normally they're going to go after the driver. Yeah.
right, but if it's a program related to your organization, then I would expect that you would be included as an additionally named in any kind of action there.
I think
I mean, we carpool to go to an event like up at Thatcher Park. We go to some of these, spring and winter events at different towns and organizations. So if there's an accident, why would it be responsible for Audubon? It would be whoever's driving the car. They would go after first.
Right.
Well, if they signed the form, they wouldn't go after Audubon and if the person lied who had a DWI in their past or had a lot of accidents in the past, and they lied on their form, they would be responsible, not Audubon.
But there's no form right now that Audubon does. I'm talking about the master gardeners have this thing that you have to submit information. I don't know the specifics of what that means if something happens. I would have to ask the head of our group, but I don't see how Audubon would be responsible if we're driving to an event that we're, attending. Whether we're sponsoring it or somebody else, it's an accident. It would be more of the person who's the driver.
Yeah, they'll still go after the organization because
Yeah.
they wouldn't be in that car otherwise. Trust me, they will.
Yeah, well, then you have to have them sign a waiver again. Just to try. It doesn't hurt to sign a waiver, And I think that's what Cornell does to protect themselves.
Yep. So I have, I don't know, can I upload a file to Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, file, there we go. Let me see if I can upload this from my computer, because we do have a waiver form that we developed for adults, basically, that may be of use if anybody wants to borrow any language from it. But it's basically a participation acknowledgement, and like whatever that might be, like this does include tools and use of tools and things like that, but that, there are risks associated with different activities, and you just agree that you understand the risks. So it doesn't necessarily, I don't think any of it prevents anybody from a lawsuit, but it shows that you are recognizing that there's risk involved and are taking steps to make sure everybody's aware of those risks. I think this was particular to volunteers and equipment, but we have something similar for our camp participation when we run our camp program. We basically just say, it's an outdoor activity, and outdoors have different risks than inside a classroom or in a building. Like you're outside, you can trip on things, there's insects and snakes and wildlife, like there's just greater inherent risks. With an outdoor program, you understand these risks. If we're working with children's groups, we basically say, like if a student is not able to follow directions for everyone's safety, they may be excused from the program. That just to make it clear that kids who are under 18, if they don't follow the rules, we have that out of saying we need you to not bring your child back.
Go home.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And do you note these? It's not a signed waiver, but do you note these similar to a waiver on each piece of each property that you own? Is there something, because people go there, even though it says 8 to, sunset to sundown, whatever, people do go there without being supervised. Is there something on the welcome?
No. But we actually just recently, because the weather has been so bizarre, we had a lot of ice underneath snow, and the trails we found were very treacherous. We checked our insurance to see if there was anything that we were required to do in regards to making that safe. And we had no requirements to do anything, but we did put a notification on our sign login where we have a QR code. When people arrive, they're supposed to scan the QR code. They get the welcome page, they get access to all the trail maps and things like that. We put on there, please note that, trails in the wintertime can be slippery and use caution when hiking or something like that. But we try not to have a whole bunch of signs if we can avoid it.
Yeah, thank you.
I was able to get our insurance costs. Our general liability is through Hartford, and it's $425 a year. That bill is coming due again here in April, and I suspect it might be higher. The liability insurance for directors and officers as through Philadelphia Insurance, and that was $915 a year. And again, that bill is coming due in April.
Okay. So that's a jump from the other prices that we've seen or heard from people. I think 600 was the highest we had heard until yours for D&O policy part. So how do they figure what the rates are for stuff like that? Does it depend on how many people are on your board?
I have no idea how they figure it. We've carried this insurance as long as I've been with the chapter, or I'm not sure if it's always been with Philadelphia, but we've carried insurance. And there has not, in my recollection, not been a lot of discussion about it. I'm not sure how to think about it. It is high, but all insurances are high.
Mm-hmm. The only discussions we've had about insurance in the last 10 years or so have been about for watercraft.
Mhm.
And we solved that by not doing any water trips.
Yeah.
Good idea.
The water trips we do are with towns, and we're using their liability. We're just hangers on. Because the water was ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, Brian, your chapter didn't get any type of letter from the travelers. I'm guessing.
I don't recall. I'd have to talk to our treasurer. He gets all of that
Sorry, the Hartford, I meant.
Hartford, yeah.
Yeah.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
At least at this point. So,
Our former president from 2 weeks ago, he just said that the travelers, if you're thinking of doing Modus Towers, they'll insure D&O insurance, but they won't insure say Modus Towers.
You said travelers won't do that?
Travelers, yeah.
You mean insure the tower itself against damage and so forth?
Yeah. I mean, this is just a short little blip here. He texted me. Yeah.
We didn't even consider that.
Yeah. I mean, we're not either. I think it's just to ensure Skidmore College, they needed like some type of rider to ensure the people that were installing the Modus Towers on top of their building on their campus. But as soon as that is over with, it still looks like then that's done. And then we're going to leave the Hartford, and we're not insuring the tower itself. But this is just little text here. And Christine, really quick, unless you already put it in the text or the chat, I'd be curious would you be able to share your bylaws that have that piece that talks about indemnification?
Yeah, I can look it up. I might be able to search for it right in my email.
Yeah,
I think we actually modeled it after another Audubon chapter somewhere.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, I can quickly look it up.
Yeah.
We use something pretty standard.
Cool. Yeah, whenever,
Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Susan, you're muted.
Why, thank you for letting me know that. Um, completely missed that. I am going to share the recording, and I will share the chat information and like any other documents that we're sharing here, but I'm going to put it on the private part of that website because I think this is a little bit more like internally natured and not necessarily for anybody from the public. Like, I think this information is more chapter to chapter. So for other chapters who might want to watch or find the materials that we've shared, they will have to use that login that chapters have to get into the back end of that website in order to view it. So just a heads up there on that. Just because I think this is a little bit more confidential in nature than some of the other birds of a feather calls. And to protect that, I think protocol wise, I think that is fitting. So just to let you know that we'll keep it on the confidential side. We've got maybe 10-15 minutes left for our discussion. So it goes so fast, I can never quite figure. But is there another topic that we want to cover in this conversation? Does anybody have questions that they came with tonight that didn't get answered? Anybody have examples or forms that they want to share that haven't had an opportunity to do that?
No.
Okay.
No.
So where do we go from here?
You want to talk about what we talked about this afternoon?
Oh, yeah, we could do that if that's.
Just as a setup for that meeting.
Yeah, when we met in December to talk about the chapter roster, we kind of included a little bit of a discussion about a contact management program that potentially all chapters could have use of as part of that. So, managing your contacts, tracking donations, coordinating events, tracking registrations, like all those things that come with systems that like most bigger organizations use, but our smaller chapters, because we're so small, we're using spreadsheets and are much less effective in management of that. I know there's some of our chapters do have systems that they use currently. Here in the room, I think Northern New York is using a system. What is it called again? Your CRM program? Oh, sorry, Mar. You're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I'm kind of mute. Anyway, we have Elio to track our membership, and I believe we can use that to track the donations and the contacts, but I don't think we're very good at using it.
Okay.
What's
So
it called?
Elio
So
will,
any help would be awesome. We're also looking into, trying to figure out how to track the registration for the GABC in a better fashion. Last year it
okay.
was spreadsheets and it was Square and it was,
This is
so
something that could help
it's a
to
great
pull it all
topic.
together. I
Yes.
know Dennis uses Little Green Light. We use spreadsheets. I think most of the other groups here are using spreadsheets. Jennifer, I know you guys have what is the little donation?
Oh,
Give butter.
butter. Yes, give
Give
butter.
butter. So we're actually, Dennis and I, we've been talking, we've kind of mulling this around for quite some time. We're trying to see if we can find a system that would work to kind of bring all of our chapters who don't have programs or who might want to combine into one program. Find good pricing on it because we've got 32 chapters in New York and Connecticut, probably 25 if you eliminate the ones that already have their own programs from their bigger organizations, like Buffalo and Bedford and New York City all have like their own pieces because they're big organizations and that's just part of the infrastructure that you need. But we're trying to see if we can land on a program that has all the benefits and that we can all be in the same system, that we can mesh it with the national membership info so that we can import and export data seamlessly, that can help us with event registration and actually track who's coming and send those people an email saying we'd love to have you as a member, like enhance our abilities a little bit more through some of the technology that's out there. So we're going to be meeting, was it the 27th? I think it's
Yes.
Tuesday, the 27th of this month, as a start, as for like a committee to really start to assess what some of the real options for this might be. And if it's something that we can find good pricing on and split it amongst all the chapters who are participating, it could be something that's a very affordable solution and can just increase our capabilities that much more by being able to actually track our people better.
But Susan, something that I know because we've been trying, our chapter's been trying to get everything straightened out.
Yep.
And I'm going to use myself as an example. I am a member of the Grinnell Legacy Society and the Canopy Club. According to Audubon, my membership is up next year or this year, but I'm a life member. They
Right.
don't have me that way. They just have me as a member.
Right. So there's some things that would be recorded correctly in a local database, and then national would just have to figure out where the issue is on their end. But we're thinking
look-
if we're all in the same program, we can help each other. We can develop template materials that everybody can use, and we can, basically work together within one system so that it'll be easier for everybody.
Yeah, but national should not have people that are in Grinnell Legacy Society as coming up for membership in a year, and
Right,
they just have me as a member. They
right.
also had me as a supporter.
Right, so that's something that like you have to figure that out with national. Like
Hmm.
how do they note your membership so that that is noted in there and you don't get renewal reminders all
Well,
the
they've
time.
been trying. I don't get renewal reminders.
That's good then, because
Yeah, but
everybody
it's
else
just
gets a
saying. But
lot.
I'm saying on the way they are doing everything, uh, it's all in some
It's all
cases
member or
or
not a
on
member.
are on the roster as a member 3 times. They're also a supporter,
Right,
and it's they just don't have it figured out, and they don't. All the people that are lifetime members, they don't have it that way, and that's coming from national.
right. So
It's
I,
something they need to fix.
yep. I
Yes, I
wanted to
would.
find out, like, I figure since we're going to meet about this, if there's anybody that wants to be involved in kind of helping to look at some of these systems, please feel free to come to that January 27th kind of committee meeting where we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail. And I have a little bit of research that I'll do in the meantime, but if I find the information that there's a system that can do what I'm thinking and hoping, I'm hoping that I can have a rep from that program at that committee meeting so that they can answer questions kind of directly to them. So.